Hi, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to all you in America and I guess some places around the world. I talked to a young man in India the other day and I asked him if they were celebrating Thanksgiving and he said yes. He's in East India and he was with, I don't know, Hewlett Packard or one of the high tech outfits that's outsourced their jobs to India. And anyway, we'll go into that sometime. Uh, right now, it looks like cooler heads have prevailed. At least I haven't heard much about North Korea and South Korea and the United States. The three countries that were involved in nearly getting us to World War III. And I'm concerned that that's going to happen. That's going to happen, and it could happen soon, over the weekend or next week, or in the weeks to come, the days to come. And I implored President Obama yesterday to talk instead of having military maneuvers in the Yellow Sea. To talk, for God's sake, to talk. Uh, that's that's what's needed, is to talk, not to have military maneuvers. We are provoking Kim Jong Il in North Korea, and he has been trying to talk to Washington and to Seoul for the last month or so, and we have rebuffed him. We have said in the past that that he gets what he wants, and then he doesn't give us what we want. This was what Jimmy Carter, when Jimmy Carter went to get the American several months back out of North Korea. The report in the newspaper was that the administration had said that they didn't like to negotiate with North Korea because they didn't get what they wanted, and North Korea did, and then they left them high and dry, or something to that effect. It was like little children, is what it sounds like. You don't give us what we want, so we won't give you what you want. Uh, I don't know where we go from here, but I'll tell you, just as a side note, I'm preparing for the worst. And I'm hoping for the best, but I'm preparing for the worst. And I, I have asked not the rhetorical question. I've asked the question: what would you do if this was your last day on Earth? What would you do? And I came to the conclusion today. I'll share this as an aside. This is a very personal thing that I'll share. I would find the most beautiful woman I could find and make mad, passionate love to her for as long as I possibly could. That's what I would do if it was my last day on Earth. And it may be one of these days if I have this doped out right. A miscalculation by Obama, by Kim Jong Il, or even South Korea. Uh, South Korea, I don't believe, has the bomb, but a miscalculation by any of those three parties, and then add to that what's going on in the Middle East, a miscalculation by Netanyahu or Ahmadinejad. If the war could start, the World War III could start in the Middle East, or it could start on the Korean Peninsula right now, in the next weeks or so. So we are rivaling status. We're trying to show might. It's a deterrent, they say. It's a deterrent. I suggest to you that the whole concept of deterrence is meaningless when it comes to nuclear weapons. Uh, you don't rattle your sabers by having military exercises off the coast in the Yellow Sea. That's not the way to approach it. The way to approach it is to sit down and talk. And to talk. What do you want? And what have you got to give to us? And anyway, talking is the answer. If there is an answer, I don't know. I'm not very optimistic. I have a feeling that before we're through, and I thought this since last July 18th when I posted the doomsday scenario, I have the feeling that we're going to blow each other off the face of this earth. I think we're headed in that direction right now, and it'll be for a good cause. It'll be for the cause of whatever, of North Korea or the Israelis or the Palestinians or the Iranians or the United States. It'll be for a good cause. Allah will be involved, and God will be involved, and country will be involved. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we can blow each other off the face of the earth many times over. And in my opinion, the whole START treaty is a joke. If we're reducing from what, 2,500, 2,700 nuclear warheads to 1,500, what difference does it make whether we can blow each other up 2,500 times or 1,500 times? What difference does it make? I think I was going to say that John Kyle, the Republican from the state of Arizona in the Senate of the United States, is holding up confirmation of the START Treaty. But you know, when it comes right down to it, it really doesn't make a lot of difference. It's a joke. It's a joke whether we have 2,500 or whether we have 1,500 nuclear warheads. When you think of what happened with Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and these bombs that we have now are many times stronger than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was, what, 65 years ago. It's a joke. It's a joke. And I want to go on, and I want to address something to President Obama. This is a very personal thing with me. I have recorded in other places on Facebook that I please President Obama, if you're listening to this, please, please stop the drones. Stop the drones. America is better than the drones. We are better than that. We are killing women and children. We are killing grandmothers and grandfathers. We're getting some Al Qaeda and we're getting some Taliban, but we are killing women and children, grandmothers and grandfathers, innocent people. They have no gripe with us, and we should not have a gripe with them. Stop the drones, please. I sent to you, President Obama, a transcript of a chat I had with Wazim Khan. I think that's the way you pronounce it, Khan. He's a young 22-year-old who lives in that part of Afghanistan, Afghanistan called Waziristan, and he has lost. Sweet and Lovely was his cousin, a little girl, Sweet and Lovely, 11 years old. She was killed by the drones. And if I can get through this without tearing up, I will. But that's not right, President Obama. That's not right. Wazim had three brothers who were killed by the drones. And I tell you, the people who are in Las Vegas, outside of Las Vegas, they go home at night. The pilots for these drones over Afghanistan, they're half a world away. They go home at night, they'll have dinner with their wife and kids, and they'll watch television, or they'll play Scrabble, or they'll do whatever Americans do, and they'll sleep well. Hopefully they don't sleep well. Hopefully they don't sleep well, but chances are they do. And Wazum goes home, and I saw the picture of the little girl who was killed, the 11-year-old girl, and it's not a pretty picture, President Obama. It's not a pretty picture at all, and the pilots go home and they sit down at dinner. Wazum goes home, he sits down with his mother and father, and there are 3 empty chairs where his brothers would be sitting. His brothers are gone forever, for an eternity. That's a human life that will never be replaced. That's a unique human life that will never be replaced, that never was before, and it will never be again. And we talk. I have heard so many people over the years say, well, life is cheap to them. Them being, I don't know, them being the Muslims or Al Qaeda or the Taliban or whatever. Life is cheap to them. They don't value human life like we do. I suggest to you, President Obama, that we are the ones who don't value human life. You asked Wazim. You asked him about his 3 brothers and his little cousin, Sweet and Lovely. I sent a copy of that chat. I copy and pasted that into a Word document, President Obama, and I sent that to you last September, I believe it was. And I don't know whether you even saw that or not, but it's someplace in the White House. It's right now. You catalog your mail, and you read 10 letters a night. And I had started something last July 18th called A Journey to Peace, and I would copy and paste into Word documents each day, and I'd send them to you. And I did that for 40 days, 40 consecutive days, almost every day, up until the early part of September. And then I got to the point where I felt I was wasting my time, that I could spend my time doing better things than trying to convince you that what we're doing in Afghanistan, what we did in Iraq, is wrong. There's no getting around it. It's just plain wrong. Uh, we, we have not learned in Afghanistan. You're a student of history, President Obama. You should know about Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan. You should know about the British, and you should know about the Soviets, just in Afghanistan. Afghanistan is the death place of great empires. And those are four empires right there. Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, the British, and the Soviets, who have gone to their grave in Afghanistan. Marco Polo went through Afghanistan. You are a student of history, President Obama. You should be aware of that. It is a graveyard. We're throwing billions, with a B, billions, down a rat hole in Afghanistan, and we're not going to win. Petraeus says we're going to win. How are we going to win? What are we going to do? Drop a bomb? What are we going to nuke them? Is that what we're going to do? Is that how we're going to win? If we killed every Al-Qaeda and every Taliban, don't you think their sons and maybe someday their daughters would come after us? Don't you think that would be the case? They did in 9/11, didn't they? Wasn't that partly what 9/11 was about? Resentment of America? Okay, we're giving them reasons to hate us in that part of the world, the drones being just one of them. When I asked Wazim in this chat what he was doing with his life, he said he was an engineering student. And he said to me, he said he was thinking about dropping out of school. And I asked him why. He said, because I'm thinking about joining the Taliban. We hear about this over here, that young people join the Taliban. And I asked him why he would join the Taliban. And he said, because America, the American military, is destroying our country. And I can't let them do that. And, you know, Wazim is 22 years old, for God's sake. He should be thinking about getting married and having a family and having children and settling down and doing whatever he's going to do with his life. He shouldn't be thinking about going out and killing Americans. And I submit to you, President Obama, that the Americans shouldn't be going out killing Taliban and Al-Qaeda. You know, it was unfortunate. It was more than unfortunate what happened on 9/11. But that's over now. And I don't feel any safer where I am right now on the East Hill of Kent near Seattle, because we're killing Taliban and we're killing Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. I feel not one bit safer. How are we doing on time? We got a couple of minutes here. So I do not feel safer. And isn't that the whole point? Isn't that the whole point, that they're launching attacks against us from Afghanistan and Iraq at one time? Saddam Hussein was supposed to be directly involved in 9/11, which he was not. Bush admitted that before he left office. There were supposed to have been weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, which there were not. No weapons of mass destruction were found, and Bush admitted that. And when Bush was questioned in a news conference, I believe it was a news conference, I saw it, and he laughed like a little child who had been caught with his hands in the cookie jar, like a nervous little laugh. There were no weapons of mass destruction. It's like Barbara, his mother, had caught him when he was 5 years old, putting his hand in the cookie jar. That's the way it impressed me. And the only unfortunate thing about that is at that point we had lost 4,000 or 5,000 American lives, to say an untold numbers of Iraqis. And now, the trains ran on time, President Obama. The trains ran on time with Saddam Hussein, and there was order. Now what do we have? We have suicide bombers almost every other day in Baghdad alone. You know, the trains ran on time. They do not now. There is not order, and they are the worst for wear in Iraq. That was an unfortunate war. And President Obama, as long as I'm going on here, how we're doing on time, we're just about out of time here. As long as I'm going on here, you voted against funding of those two wars when you were a senator. What changed your mind about about Afghanistan. Why did you commit 30,000 more troops? Was it because some people say because Petraeus said we needed them, or his predecessor said that we needed them? I don't believe that. I believe you're a strong man, and you certainly were when you fired the GM CEO, and you